dealing with option football that you don't see a lot?
Yeah, it's very unique, and it's difficult to transition into more patient, react to blocks, try to keep people off your legs. So there's a lot there, and then their ability to execute so many different variables in the triple option is challenging in a lot of ways. And the difficult part is the amount of time they could hold the football. I mean, when you look at, they're averaging, I think, close to 40 minutes a game holding the football, and that can that can be very difficult. Getting stops, just grinding the clock out. So we're gonna have to be good in critical situations and try to get some turnovers and get more possessions for our offense.
Explain some of the variables. I mean, are you talking formations? Are you talking, what do they do out of them?
A lot of everyone says, well, don't you know they're running the ball? Yeah, they're going to run 90% of the time, and then the other 10% they're going to try to trick you with a play action pass. So it's just a lot of different schemes. They're very effective how they run the football, and it may look simplistic to your normal fan, but to us there's a uniqueness to it. There's a strategy to everything they do, and it's going to take great discipline, getting off blocks, keeping people off your legs, and then obviously tackling and taking care of the fullback and quarterback. Those are you defend the option, you try to do it inside out. Those two guys are obviously very critical to any option game, and then the perimeter game, getting the ball pitched and being able to rotate our defense effectively is going to be important as well.
Mike, the keeping guys off your legs, how difficult is that to simulate? Because the service academies can tend to do it probably more than anybody.
That's one of the hardest things to do, is to keep people off your legs. We're not used to everybody crawling. They're going to dig through, and what they do is it's how they do it. They stay low and try to rip through gaps and get in people's legs and tie people up. And we're gonna have to be good with our hands and protect ourselves and try to keep ourselves free.
Talk about how effective they are in the run game, but they also lead the nation in yards per completion. How do you combat that also?
Well, I think when you look at their ability to throw the football has been a little more prevalent this year than they did in the past. I thought the quarterback last year was really outstanding handling the football. This guy throws the ball maybe a little bit better. They feel a little bit better with their passing game under him. He throws the ball well, but that's the effect of crowding the line of scrimmage, trying to crowd their run game, get an extra body in there to defend the run. Then they're gonna hurt you with a play action pass. So those have been very effective for him this year, and that's something that we have worked a lot this week, and we'll continue to work the rest of the week.
Mike, when did you start preparing for this game? I know a couple of players said that you guys started in fall camp, gave them some looks. When did you start looking at this game?
We took a couple days during camp, at the end of camp, before we started our FAU preparation. So we did a couple days there. We did a day in the spring just to kind of learn the fundamentals, changing of techniques, understanding spacing, what they're trying to do with their gaps and their alignments, and getting our players to really understand all the different formations.
When you're coming off a game where the tackling isn't probably at the level that you want it to be, do you do anything different during this week, or just go back to basics?
Just basic fundamentals. We did a lot of stuff today, and trying to keep people off your legs and being able to finish tackles. So it's going to be a big part of the game, and certainly was lacking Saturday.
How crucial is guys like Mark Jackson and Kenneth Mann, just their discipline this weekend?
Yeah, that'll be big. I think you'll see. We'll play bigger. Ryan Jones will be a big factor in the game as well. Our athleticism on the perimeter. We'll play big a lot in this game, and they play big, and you have to have athletic guys, and hopefully that's our our trump card is our ability to run and get off blocks. That's going to be an important factor of it today or Saturday, and being able to tackle and being able to take care of our assignments.
What's kind of been behind Mark Jackson's emergence for you guys this year?
Oh, just playing more consistency, just having the opportunity to play more. He's always been an athletic guy, and I think he's got a big upside, and hopefully he finally realizes, the player he can be. And he's still a young. He really should be. He started school a year earlier. He just turned, I think, 20 about a week ago. So, just a young guy. Probably could have used that extra year. I wish we'd have had it, but he's kind of coming into his own as a player.
How tough, you talked about Ryan Jones, how tough is it for a guy that's new to playing that linebacker spot, going up against a triple option, just the discipline and the aspect of it, and just trying to see his keys and all that?
I think this will be a good game for him. I look for him to play well. He's athletic. He understands what we're trying to do and the different calls we have with him. So he's an athletic guy. He's going to have to play with his hands, play with great leverage and playing low. But he's very athletic, and I think he can do a lot of different things. So I think it's a good game for him.
Mike, does Army still use big splits in the offensive line, and does that make it difficult in today's game?
Well, they're going to split as wide as you let them. You got to control that with your defense as well. So they'll try to split you out and create space in there for the fullback, but you got to have some stuff in there that some defense that can take some of that stuff away too.
Mike, you mentioned playing big. How much does something in this game change kind of what you guys do as far as personnel-wise going in and facing an opponent like this?
I think this, probably the hardest thing is transitioning into this and transitioning out of this. I think it's not so much the game, it's changing your mentality, changing the way we play all week. This is how we're playing. Then we're gonna, last week was totally different. Next week will be total. There's zero carryover really, for the most part. So that's the hardest part of it, just transitioning in and out of it.
Any benefit to that, or you seen these different styles of offenses in your non-conference?
Not really. I think the first 3 weeks there's a lot of similarities and spread people. This is drastically different, but that's, you got to adjust week in and week out to the styles and adjust your defense accordingly.
You talked about all the different aspects of keeping people off your legs, different things like that, but what about just the basic concept of assignment defense, which is so different than what people normally do? How do you emphasize, hey, you've got to do this and that's that,
Well, a lot of times we practice without even a football because there's a dive element. There's always going to be a fullback play. The fullback has an opportunity to carry the ball. He's the number one rusher, so you have to take care of the fullback on every play. And then, the quarterback has his hands on the ball probably the second most, and his ability to get to the perimeter, to duck it up in there, or to pitch the ball in the perimeter. So you kind of play it inside out, and that's how you usually approach triple option teams.
Mike, this being a military academy, you as coaches just ever, if you're in a situation like this, just want to go up to one of those guys and just meet one of them or thank them, or I don't know, anything along those lines?
Yeah, it was funny. Coach Kish gave the scouting report. He coached there for, I think, 7 or 8 years, and he really defined what it was to coach at one of these institutions, and I think we have it tough, or you have it. It's nothing compared to what those kids do day in and day out. So sure, there's a patriotic side, but they're out there trying to run you over just like we are. So during that 3 hours, no, that's one thing they know how to do is fight, and that was the message to our players. So during the game you gotta play the game, and certainly after they're unbelievable representatives for our country, and to have the freedoms that we're able to have is pretty amazing. So they are heroes in a lot of ways, but we certainly can't look at it that way when we step on the field.
Looking back on Saturday with the way the corners played,
Like it.
Okay. Party.
It's a good jam, man.
Trying to have an interview here. Trying to have an interview here.
Trey Brown going to rotate in more, maybe going
Yeah,
forward?
Trey is getting, a lot of reps. We played Trey a lot in the first 2 games. Didn't have a great week last week, but he'll definitely be, in our rotation and need to get him involved in what we're doing and just have to keep building consistency out there. I thought we were, fundamentally not where we needed to be. So, we just need to keep pushing to get better. We're going to get, a lot of those, big, fast receivers, and we gotta challenge them and got to win some of those matchups.
Parnell started off strong in the first half against Iowa State, and in the second half had a couple of things not go his way. Did you, in film, did you see anything that kind of went into that?
Oh, the play, he just misses the one on the strip on the vertical. We had him under and over him. He just missed the play there. I think the one that bothered us the most was the double move. That was just inexcusable. That's lazy, and it's not a veteran move to be able to get beat that bad on a double move. So he needs to be locked in and more engaged. And I think it was another learning experience. He has to learn from these, and he has to be more consistent. And he knows that. But we all got to play better. But those things are glaring mistakes when you're out there on the perimeter, that's for sure. So just needs to clean up. I think a lot of just fundamentally, just a lot of technique errors, and that's something that we really have to clean up if we want to move forward as a defense.